She strode into the dealership, clad in jeans and a plain white t-shirt, her eyes gleaming with determination as she inquired about a luxury car. The salesman cast a scornful gaze over her, his eyes filled with contempt. With a mocking sneer, he gestured toward the exit, his voice dripping with disdain. "I'm sorry, but I think you're in the wrong place. The price of these vehicles begins at a staggering $300,000. As the laughter of her colleagues echoed around her, and the eyes of customers bore down like a spotlight, her face burned with the heat of utter humiliation. She vanished into the shadows, silence enveloping her departure. As dawn broke, a magnificent Rolls-Royce Phantom glided to a stop outside the dealership, its presence commanding attention and intrigue. As the back door creaked open, the salesman's jaw fell in disbelief. He was completely blindsided. The illustrious Boston luxury motors gleamed with an electrifying brilliance under the piercing morning light. Behind the shimmering glass walls lay a breathtaking array of exotic vehicles, each one a tantalizing dream that few could ever hope to possess. Porsche, Bentley, Aston Martin, Ferrari, each one a more extravagant marvel than the last, a testament to opulence and power. Margaret Collins, known as Maggie to her closest companions, burst through the doors, her brown ponytail swaying with an electrifying energy with every stride. Her simple white t-shirt clung to her form, the well-worn jeans hugging her curves, while the minimal makeup hinted at a raw, unfiltered beauty. She was a woman who embraced the essence of practicality, casting aside the superficial for something far more profound. At 35, she radiated an intense confidence, forged from a profound understanding of her true self. What lay hidden beneath her unassuming exterior was the fierce spirit of Maggie, the visionary founder and relentless force behind the Collins Foundation for Children with Disabilities, an organization that had irrevocably changed the destinies of countless young lives. Long before her paths intertwined with her now husband, she forged a legacy from the ground up, channeling her passion and expertise in special needs development to ignite a powerful transformation. As she stepped into the showroom, her gaze was instantly drawn to a striking midnight blue coupe, an exquisite choice for her sister's momentous 40th birthday. Caroline had always envisioned herself behind the wheel of a luxury car, and after conquering breast cancer last year, Maggie was determined to gift her something extraordinary. She had the means to make it happen without a second thought. Her foundation's triumph and shrewd investments had woven a tapestry of comfort around her, yet the depths of her fortune remained a closely guarded secret, known to only a select few. Across the showroom, Blake Thompson tightened his blue tie, his fingers deftly smoothing the fabric of his navy suit jacket, ready for the unfolding drama ahead. As sales manager, he reveled in his uncanny ability to identify serious buyers at a glance. As he caught a glimpse of Maggie in her casual attire, a smirk crept across his face, and he exchanged knowing glances with his colleagues. This promises to be quite entertaining. "Good morning." Maggie flashed a captivating smile at the young salesman named Daniel as he boldly approached her. "Welcome to the exhilarating world of Boston luxury motors. I am Daniel. What captivating topic has drawn your attention today?" Just as Maggie was about to speak, Blake swooped in with effortless precision. "I'll take care of this, Daniel," he declared, then pivoted to Maggie, his smile expertly crafted yet devoid of warmth. Seeking guidance, and just like that, Maggie's day at the dealership commenced, a day poised to alter the very fabric of reality for all who crossed its path. In a moment charged with tension, Maggie responded with an unexpected warmth. "I find myself captivated by that midnight blue coupe." With a sweeping gesture, she indicated the $285,000 vehicle showcased on the elevated platform, its allure undeniable and captivating. Blake Thompson's smile faltered, a shadow crossing his face. He had witnessed this scene countless times, souls drifting in to indulge in fantasies of automobiles forever beyond their reach. As the end-of-month quotas approached with relentless urgency, and 3 formidable buyers were set to arrive that very afternoon, he found himself with no room for daydreams. Behold the exclusive Azure, masterpiece of rarity and allure. "Only 15 were made this year," he declared, each word dripping with urgency, as if revealing a profound secret to a child. "Allow me to guide you to the realm of our pre-owned vehicles." They find themselves in a distant structure, a mere 3 blocks to the east. Maggie felt the intensity of his gaze as it flickered over her unassuming attire, pausing on her worn sneakers with an unsettling curiosity. She had grown familiar with the weight of such judgments. Unbeknownst to most, she had intentionally embraced this. She pressed on with unwavering determination. Can one catch a Blake's expression darkened, a storm brewing behind his eyes. Behind him, two salesmen shared furtive glances. There the Azure is accessible only through an exclusive appointment, he deceived with a seamless charm. Our esteemed at that Blake's demeanor shifted in an electrifying instant. Please excuse me, he uttered to Maggie, his gaze averted, shrouded in tension. Why not seize the opportunity and take a brochure? Daniel is the one who can assist you with that. He advanced toward the couple, arms wide open, a gesture of invitation that crackled with intensity. Mr. With a hesitant yet earnest smile, Daniel, the younger salesman, drew closer to Maggie, the air thick with unspoken tension. He appeared barely 25, and the suit he wore hung on him like a shadow, a size too large, hinting at a story yet untold. With a hushed voice, he expressed his regret, the weight of his words hanging in the air. Shall I unveil the mysteries of the Azure to you? I would, Maggie replied, her voice laced with an intensity that hung in the air. As Daniel passionately unveiled the vehicle's features, Maggie's gaze locked onto Blake, guiding the impeccably dressed couple straight toward the Azure. With a grand gesture, he swung the door open, beckoning Mrs. Harrington to enter the mysterious depths within. The very car he had insisted was for appointments only. It's perfectly fine, Maggie declared, her voice steady, as she sensed the tension radiating from the increasingly uneasy Daniel. I grasped the intricate workings of these matters. Across the showroom, Blake was executing his meticulously crafted sales routine with an intensity that captivated all who watched. This exclusive model boasts a staggering 8-month waiting list, yet I have reserved one for my most esteemed clients. Mrs. Harrington's fingers glided over the sleek leather interior, a shiver of anticipation coursing through her as she felt the smooth texture beneath her touch. It's breathtaking, yet the color leaves me in doubt. We could certainly explore custom options, Blake declared, his voice laced with intensity. Maggie crept forward, her presence barely a whisper, poised just within the realm of sound. Excuse me, she declared, her voice cutting through the tension in the air. I am eager to explore the possibility of acquiring this model. Blake's face flushed with intensity. As I mentioned earlier, this vehicle is being presented to these customers, he said, his irritation barely held in check. Perhaps you might consider returning at a later date, or, as I proposed, explore our thrilling selection of used cars. The couple exchanged tense glances, their eyes darting nervously between Blake and Maggie. Maggie declared with a steady resolve, her eyes gleaming with determination, that this car was the perfect gift for her sister's birthday next month. Blake distanced himself from the Harringtons, his voice dropping to a hushed whisper. Listen closely, I get it. People have their fantasies, but this is a realm of commerce. The price of that vehicle surpasses that of the average home. I've shown remarkable patience, yet here you are, disrupting a perfectly valid transaction. A crowd of nearby customers had gathered, their eyes fixed on the tense and uneasy confrontation unfolding before them. Daniel lingered uneasily at the edge, his heart racing with anticipation. With unwavering resolve, Maggie declared her intent to make a cash purchase today, her composure unshaken amidst the tension. In that moment, Blake's polished facade shattered into a million pieces. His laughter erupted, a sharp, jarring sound that reverberated ominously throughout the showroom floor. All eyes snapped in unison. A purchase made in cold, hard cash? Is that truly the case? His voice rose, a weapon crafted to bring humiliation to its target. This is no mere yard sale. We're discussing a staggering sum of $250,000. Those who possess the means for these vehicles do not adorn themselves in. With a wave of his hand, he cast aside her outfit as if it were nothing more than a fleeting shadow. That moment, Maggie's cheeks burned, not from shame, but from a simmering fury that threatened to erupt. Not for her own sake. She had faced such treatment before, yet for anyone who had ever felt the sting of judgment based on their appearance, the weight of that moment was unbearable. I believe my money holds the same weight as anyone else's, she declared, her voice barely above a whisper, yet charged with an undeniable intensity. Blake advanced, looming ominously above her. "Let me be clear," he declared, his disdain now laid bare for all to see. "Your actions are not only a futile endeavor, but also a source of your own humiliation. Make an appointment for a serious discussion, dressed appropriately, or vacate the premises immediately." The showroom fell into an eerie hush. The Harringtons emerged from the car, their unease palpable in the tense air around them. "Is there a conflict brewing in the shadows?" A fresh voice pierced through the conversation, igniting a spark of intrigue. The dealership's owner, Richard Mason, was drawn in by the chaos unfolding around him. Blake adjusted his tie with a determined flick, the tension in the air palpable. "Absolutely, sir. I was just conveying to this lady that our operations are strictly by appointment for those who are genuinely interested in making a purchase." Richard Mason surveyed the scene with a keen eye, absorbing Maggie's unadorned presence and the tense gaze of the crowd that surrounded them. His expression revealed the fierce allegiance he had chosen. "Text, I see," he said, his voice laced with an intensity that hung in the air, charged with unspoken tension. "Ms. Collins," Maggie declared with intensity. "Margaret Collins. Miss Collins, it seems we find ourselves at a crossroads of confusion. Our clientele often finds themselves at the edge of their seats. Indeed, they grasp the unparalleled nature of our vehicles." "I understand perfectly," Maggie replied, her voice unwavering even as the humiliation seared through her chest. "Your sales manager has laid down the law with unwavering precision." Blake advanced once more, his voice laced with a biting disdain that hung in the air like a storm cloud ready to unleash its fury. "If you truly have an interest, though I remain skeptical, you may call to schedule an appointment. However, I strongly advise you to come prepared with proof of funds and to dress the part, for the stakes are high. These cars," he pointed dramatically around the showroom, "are reserved for a select elite." A tense whisper surged among the spectators. A sinister chuckle echoed through the air. Maggie scanned the room, her heart racing as she met the piercing gazes of the onlookers, caught in the web of Blake's self-satisfied smirk and the owner's silent endorsement of the chaos unfolding around her. She had encountered discrimination in the past, but never with such audacity, never under the glaring spotlight of public scrutiny. "Text, I see," she uttered, her voice laced with an intensity that hung in the air. With her dignity held high yet her spirit battered, she pivoted and strode toward the exit, each step echoing the weight of her turmoil. Behind her, Blake's voice echoed, lingering in the air with an unsettling intensity. "Some individuals simply fail to recognize their rightful position." With a surge of determination, Maggie thrust open the glass doors, stepping into the blinding morning sunlight as she fished her phone from her pocket. The sting of humiliation pierced her, yet a defiant smile emerged on her lips as she dialed the number. The Collins estate loomed over 5 secluded acres outside Boston, its subtle grandeur concealing the staggering wealth that lay beneath its surface. Alexander Collins thrived in the shadows of his own design. At 41, the tech visionary had transformed the landscape of renewable energy storage technology, amassing a fortune while shrouded in an air of mystery. As Maggie stepped into his home office, Alexander's gaze snapped up from his desk, urgency compelling him to abandon his tasks. 15 years of marriage had sharpened his ability to decipher her expressions with uncanny accuracy. A sense of unease hung in the air. "What transpired?" he demanded, circling the desk to confront her. Maggie collapsed into the leather chair, the morning's tumultuous events crashing over her like a relentless tide. "It was educational," she declared, her wry smile betraying a depth of unspoken tension that lingered in the air. She relived the harrowing encounter at the dealership, the scornful glances, the crushing humiliation, the overt discrimination that pierced through the air. As she spoke, a shadow fell across Alexander's face, his silence heavy with unspoken words, allowing her the weighty moment to grapple with her thoughts. In that moment, she realized it was never about her. "I walk away with the burden of truth, yet countless souls face the relentless torment of being denied what they rightfully deserve, unaware that they possess the means to claim it." Alexander nodded, a storm of thoughts brewing within him. Throughout their years together, It was this unwavering compassion that struck him most about Maggie, her relentless care for others, even in the face of her own injustices. "So, what shall we do about it?" he inquired, his voice laced with tension. A part of her yearned for inaction. She confessed, contemplating the allure of acquiring Caroline's gift from another source. "But then I recall that young salesman, Daniel, who, against all odds, treated me with unwavering respect, no matter the attire I wore. And I ponder the countless souls who endure such harsh judgment, trapped with no means of escape." Her gaze pierced through the air, locking onto Alexander with an intensity that could ignite the very atmosphere around them. "These individuals must grasp that true value transcends mere appearance, yet I seek no retribution. I crave recognition." Alexander nodded slowly, a cunning scheme taking shape in the depths of his mind. "I believe I have conceived a notion that achieves both objectives with striking precision." "Nothing too intense," Maggie cautioned, fully aware of her husband's fierce protective instincts. "No acquiring the dealership and dismissing the entire staff." Alexander let out a laugh, a sound that defied the ordinary, as he leaned forward, his eyes sparkling with mischief. A touch of enlightenment is essential. Together, they forged a scheme, not for vengeance, but for awakening. A force that could shift viewpoints with greater impact than mere vengeance. "Are you absolutely certain you won't join us on this exhilarating journey?" With a sense of urgency, Alexander inquired about the moment they would seal the deal on the details. Maggie vehemently shook her head, a storm of emotions brewing within her. "This transcends my desire to see them face their reckoning. It's a journey of uncovering hidden truths that lie beneath the surface." She hesitated for a moment, her smile lingering, before declaring, "But I expect a full report." As dusk enveloped their home, Alexander dialed number after number, igniting a chain of events that would unfold with the dawn. Tomorrow loomed ominously, promising a gripping lesson in humility and the peril of assumptions, not only for Blake Thompson but for all at Boston Luxury Motors. The dawn broke with an exquisite display of weather, setting the stage for what was to come. Blake Thompson stormed into Boston Luxury Motors, his confident stride echoing through the sleek showroom as he adjusted his signature blue tie with a flair that demanded attention. Yesterday's incident with the underdressed woman had transformed into a captivating tale he recounted over drinks with colleagues, each detail heightening the suspense of the moment. Another misguided soul, lost in the illusion that she was destined for a life of opulence. The showroom shimmered ominously beneath the strategically placed lights, casting shadows that hinted at secrets waiting to be uncovered. Exotic cars positioned with precision, each one a tantalizing spectacle designed to captivate and enthrall. Blake had just concluded the morning staff meeting, passionately underscoring the critical necessity of meticulously qualifying customers. "Remember," he had commanded the sales team, "our time is precious. We serve an exclusive clientele. It's not a matter of superiority. It's a quest for unparalleled effectiveness." Daniel, the young salesman, sat in silence during the meeting, his unease palpable in the charged atmosphere. Blake resolved to confront him about the crucial art of customer assessment. At precisely 10:17 a.m., the unmistakable roar of a remarkable engine pierced the air, capturing every gaze outside. Through the towering windows, a vehicle unlike any other came to a breathtaking halt right before the grand entrance. Conversations came to a sudden, breathless stop. Even Blake, usually indifferent to the allure of luxury vehicles that surrounded him daily, felt a surge of adrenaline course through him. A Rolls-Royce Phantom, a symbol of opulence and power, glides through the night, its presence commanding attention and admiration. The very air around it crackles with anticipation, as if the vehicle itself holds secrets of the elite and whispers tales of grandeur with every turn of its wheels. A wheelbase that stretches beyond the ordinary. Yet this is no mere phantom. This was a custom model, cloaked in a mesmerizing midnight blue finish that danced with shifting hues under the piercing sunlight. Bold projections suggest its worth could soar beyond $1.2 million. Could it be? Richard Mason, the owner, stepped out of his office, compelled by the eerie stillness that had enveloped the air. The bespoke Phantom, Blake declared, surged forward, drawing closer to the entrance with an air of urgency. a configuration so rare, it sends shivers down the spine. A uniformed chauffeur emerged from the sleek Rolls-Royce, his movements deliberate and poised as he glided around to unveil the rear passenger door with an air of meticulous elegance. From the vehicle emerged a man whose very presence demanded attention. Tall, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit that murmured its five-figure price tag with an air of quiet confidence. His salt and pepper hair was impeccably styled, and his posture radiated an undeniable command. Blake's instincts as a salesman surged to an electrifying peak. This was an extraordinary opportunity, teetering on the edge of the unimaginable. This was the type of client that sent dealerships into a fierce frenzy of competition. The kind whose acquisitions encompassed not merely a single vehicle, but the promise of a thrilling alliance valued in the millions. "Good morning, sir. Welcome to Boston Luxury Motors," Blake exclaimed, swiftly intercepting the esteemed visitor before any other salesperson had the chance to make their move. "Blake Thompson, sales manager, your presence here today is nothing short of exhilarating." The man fixed his gaze on Blake, his expression a mask of mystery, before bestowing a courteous smile that failed to illuminate the depths of his eyes. "Alexander Collins," he declared, his voice steady as he extended a powerful handshake. Blake's mind surged with intensity. The name echoed in his mind, a haunting whisper that danced just beyond his grasp, teasing him with its elusive familiarity. Nonetheless, the Rolls-Royce revealed a powerful narrative about the man's wealth and influence. "Mr. Collins, the honor is nothing short of monumental. What fateful circumstance has led you to our modest abode today? Allow me to unveil our latest arrivals, a spectacle you won't want to miss. A rare and exclusive edition has just arrived." With a subtle yet commanding gesture, Alexander brought a pause to Blake's meticulously rehearsed pitch. "Indeed, I find myself drawn to a particular vehicle, the Azure Coupe, cloaked in a deep midnight blue." Blake's smile widened, a glimmer of excitement dancing in his eyes. "An outstanding decision, sir. Only 15 of these remarkable creations were forged this year. I would be thrilled to unveil it for you. It lies just beyond the horizon. I possess the knowledge of its location," Alexander interjected with an air of confidence. "My wife was here yesterday, her curiosity ignited by it." Blake's customer service smile held firm, yet a storm of confusion danced in his eyes. "Your wife, you say? The memories elude me. Could it be that one of my colleagues came to her aid?" Alexander's expression hardened, a chilling shift that sent a ripple of tension through the air. "Absolutely not, Mr. Thompson. You were her accomplice. Or rather, you chose to turn your back on her in her moment of need." Margaret Collins. She donned a pair of jeans that clung to her figure, complemented by a stark white t-shirt that seemed to glow with an intensity all its own. "You proposed that she could find greater ease in exploring the world of used cars." Blake's face went pale as the chilling truth struck him like a bolt of lightning. Behind him, a sharp intake of breath pierced the air, emanating from Daniel, who had been lurking in the shadows. "Mr. Collins, Blake faltered, his once effortless eloquence slipping away into the shadows. "A grave misunderstanding must be at play here. We invite every customer to step into our realm." At this moment, Richard Mason drew near, acutely aware that something intense was unfolding. "Is everything okay, Blake?" With a swift motion, Alexander's gaze locked onto the owner, a tension crackling in the air. "Mr. Mason, I take it? Richard Mason?" "Absolutely, without a doubt. Welcome to the exhilarating world of Boston Luxury Motors. My deepest gratitude. I was just revealing to Mr. Thompson that my wife had come by yesterday, captivated by the idea of acquiring the Azure Coupe as a surprise for her sister. Yet, she was subjected to a treatment that sends chills down my spine." Richard's expression transformed in an instant, morphing from a warm welcome to a deep-seated concern that sent shivers down the spine. It's truly unfortunate to hear that. I found myself caught in a fleeting exchange, yet the full scope of the details eluded me." Alexander nodded, a storm of thoughts swirling in his mind. "The details reveal a chilling confrontation, as your sales manager stands accused by the whispers of those around her, deemed unworthy of this establishment simply for her choice of casual attire." As the tension mounted, a small crowd began to converge, drawing in salespeople, support staff, and a handful of eager early customers, all caught in the unfolding drama. The showroom was enveloped in an eerie silence. "Mr. Collins," Blake began, his voice trembling with urgency. If there was any miscommunication, it was not a mere misunderstanding. Daniel's voice cut through the tension like a knife. Every gaze fixated on the young salesman, who stood there, astonished by the surge of bravery coursing through him. Miss Collins endured a harrowing ordeal of mistreatment. She expressed her keen interest in the Azure with unwavering politeness and precision, yet she faced relentless dismissal, her worth judged solely by her appearance. Blake cast Daniel a piercing glare, but the harm was irrevocable. With a swift motion, Alexander pivoted to face Richard Mason. "It's quite fascinating, isn't it? My wife established and leads the Collins Foundation, a beacon of hope for children with disabilities. It has consumed her existence long before our paths ever crossed. She has triumphantly secured over $50 million for cutting-edge medical equipment and transformative educational programs." He halted, allowing the weight of this revelation to settle in the air. Maggie opts for simplicity in her attire, driven by a fierce conviction to embrace modesty, regardless of our circumstances. She discovers that it binds her to the families she aids, a lifeline in the midst of their struggles. "It's just one of the many reasons that ignite my passion for her." Richard Mason's complexion had drained of color. "Mr. Collins, I must emphasize, this is a stark departure from the principles we uphold at our dealership. We take immense pride in. Deeds resonate far more powerfully than mere words, Mr. Mason." With an unwavering voice, Alexander cut in decisively. "Now, concerning the Azure, my intentions extend far beyond acquiring a single vehicle." Blake's heart raced at this unexpected turn, a flicker of professional hope piercing through his turmoil. "As I contemplated the purchase of the Azure for my wife's sister, just as Maggie had envisioned, a thrilling thought crossed my mind. What if I also initiated a bold fleet replacement for our corporate vehicles? 7 in total, and my personal collection is in dire need of a thrilling update." Mason's eyes flared with intensity. A sale of that magnitude could shatter expectations, propelling them to meet their quarterly targets in one breathtaking transaction. Yet, Alexander pressed on, a storm of doubt swirling within him as he pondered if this was truly the right establishment for such a monumental investment. The silence in the showroom was deafening. Blake appeared utterly unwell, a pallor washing over his features. "Mr. Collins," Richard implored with urgency, "I am deeply remorseful for this regrettable turn of events. I promise you, this is far from our usual way of doing things. We implore you to grant us the opportunity to rectify this situation." Alexander paused, the weight of the decision hanging in the air, a storm of thoughts swirling within him. At last, he spoke, his voice heavy with gravity. "Perhaps there is a way forward," he declared, "but it demands far more than merely peddling cars to me." "Anything," Richard declared with fervor, his voice cutting through the tension like a knife. "The Collins Foundation is set to unveil a spectacular benefit gala next month, promising an evening filled with anticipation and excitement. We are embarking on a mission to secure funding for an extraordinary adaptive sports complex, designed specifically for children with physical disabilities." "Blake," he spun around to face the horrified sales manager, "your presence promises to be enlightening." Blake swallowed hard. "Sir, not merely as a guest, but as someone caught in the throes of an unfolding storm." With a fervent conviction, Alexander revealed that as a volunteer, the foundation is in constant pursuit of passionate individuals ready to aid in the setup, allowing the children to witness the transformative work unfolding before their very eyes. The implications loomed ominously. This had transcended the mere act of selling cars. It was a journey into the depths of human worth, a revelation that would shake the very core of existence. Furthermore, Alexander pressed on, directing his words toward Richard Mason, suggesting that the dealership could embark on the bold initiative of launching a training program focused on unconscious bias. "I am acquainted with a number of remarkable consultants." Richard nodded with fervor, his conviction palpable in the air. "Without a doubt, we would embrace such a bold initiative." With a swift motion, Alexander pivoted towards Daniel, the eager young salesman who had dared to voice his thoughts. "I need you to take charge of all the paperwork, beginning with the Azure for my sister-in-law." Daniel's eyes widened in shock, piercing through the tension that hung in the air. "I express my deepest gratitude to you, sir." I would be deeply honored. Good, Alexander declared, his voice echoing with an undeniable certainty. Now, shall we delve into the intricate details of the corporate fleet? As they approached Mason's office, Alexander halted before the Azure, his fingers gliding over its smooth, polished surface. My wife possesses an extraordinary sense of style, wouldn't you agree? Behind them, Blake Thompson stood frozen, his flawless existence shattered beyond recognition. The brutal reality had finally struck him like a lightning bolt. His true nature was laid bare, not through the way he engaged with those he deemed significant, but in the chilling manner he regarded those he considered inconsequential. 1 month later, the Collins Foundation Benefit Gala turned the Grand Boston Hotel into a breathtaking spectacle of hope and ambition. Children facing diverse challenges alongside their families intertwined with donors, medical experts, and passionate supporters. At the entrance, Blake Thompson stood out, clad not in his typical sales attire, but in the stark uniform of the event staff. He guided the guests with purpose, lending a hand to a young boy in a wheelchair, embodying a moment of unexpected heroism amidst the bustling crowd. The past month had transformed him in ways he could never have anticipated. His volunteer work at the foundation began as a mere obligation, a necessary sacrifice for the sake of professional survival. But an unforeseen twist unfolded as he observed the relentless trials these children confront each day and the unwavering dignity with which they rise to meet them. Across the room, Maggie Collins, striking in a simple blue dress, made her way toward him with an air of undeniable intensity. Even with the truth of her identity laid bare before him, Blake found himself captivated once more by her unassuming nature. "What are your thoughts on this intense experience, Blake?" she demanded. He pondered the question with intense focus. With a sense of gravity, he finally responded, and it was undeniably essential. Maggie nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. She noted with a hint of intrigue, "It appears that Thomas has developed quite an affection for you," her gaze shifting to the boy in the wheelchair. Blake confessed, revealing the intense journey of learning adaptive basketball. "It seems my form is utterly disastrous." This elicited an authentic burst of laughter from Maggie. "He is a coach of unwavering integrity." Blake's expression darkened, a storm brewing behind his eyes. "Mrs. Collins, though I have expressed my remorse in a formal manner, I must confront you face to face and convey my deepest apologies. My heart aches with regret for the way I wronged you. There is absolutely no justification." "You're right. There isn't," she conceded, her voice laced with an unsettling calm. "The inquiry lies in the depths of your discoveries." He spoke with intensity, asserting that true worth transcends mere appearance, status, or material wealth. "Everyone," he declared, "is entitled to respect until they reveal otherwise," flipping the narrative on its head. Maggie recognized the weight of the lessons learned. "Surely, the cost must be staggering." Blake nodded with a heavy heart, haunted by the significant loss the dealership had suffered when Alexander Collins chose to acquire only the Azure, leaving the additional fleet behind in the shadows of missed opportunity. "It was worth every penny," he declared with unwavering conviction. Across the room, Alexander strode in, his presence commanding as he placed a firm hand on his wife's shoulder. Blake was revealing some of his profound insights, Maggie explained, attention hanging in the air. With a solemn nod, Alexander acknowledged the weight of the moment. "I hear you've plunged into the depths of the adaptive sports program." "Indeed, sir. In a bold move, I have committed to extend my journey of volunteering beyond the mandatory period." He paused, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face, before he continued, revealing that he had been collaborating with Mr. Mason to completely transform their customer strategy at the dealership. Appearance no longer holds sway over judgment. "I'm glad to hear it," Alexander said, then caught Blake off guard by adding, "Which reminds me, that corporate fleet I mentioned, we're still in the market. Perhaps you could take charge of that transaction." Daniel passionately praises the profound impact your mentorship has had on his journey. Blake's face twisted in disbelief, only to transform into a profound sense of appreciation. Text: "I would be deeply honored, Mr. Collins, truly honored." As the evening drew to a close, Blake observed Maggie and Alexander Collins navigating the crowd, their presence commanding yet subtle, forging authentic connections with each child and family. leaving an indelible mark on the atmosphere. He pondered the profound shift that had irrevocably altered his perception. A month ago, he would have scoffed at the very idea of someone like Maggie Collins, her casual appearance a mere facade that concealed the depths of her true nature. At that moment, he realized that genuine worth transcended the superficial allure of designer labels, opulent cars, and lofty titles. As Blake assisted Thomas back into his wheelchair following a captivating photo session, the boy flashed a triumphant grin up at him. "Do you truly understand, Mr. Blake? You're surprisingly impressive for someone of your age." Blake's smile ignited a spark, a moment charged with unspoken tension. "From you, Thomas, that is the most profound praise I've encountered in ages." And he was deadly serious. "We all form opinions shaped by what we see, don't we?" Yet, as Blake Thompson unearthed, delving deeper can unveil remarkable individuals and transformative chances that could alter the course of destiny. If this tale struck a chord within you, don't hesitate to smash that subscribe button and become part of our passionate community of narrative enthusiasts. We eagerly await your thoughts in the comments below, ready for the excitement that your words will bring. Have you ever found yourself caught in the web of misjudgment, swayed by the facade of someone's appearance, or felt the sting of being misjudged yourself? Your experiences could ignite a spark in others, leading them down a path of transformation. And remember, the ultimate gauge of wealth lies far beyond the confines of your bank account. It's a tale of the unseen moments, where the true essence of character is revealed in the shadows, when the gaze of the significant is absent. Prepare yourself for our next tale, where an intense revelation lies in wait.